On today's Solo Sunday news, Ric Flair hits a new low, mixed internal reaction to WWE Evolution 2, Thunder Rosa wants to know what the flub she needs to do in AEW, and a new AAA Mega Champion has been crowned. Hello, and welcome to WhatCulture Wrestling, the Solo Sunday news. Myself, Andrew Pollard. I hope you're good. I hope you're well. I hope your weekend is going as well as possible. Starting things off today, it's not exactly the cheeriest of stories, but Ric Flair has been at it again. Undoubtedly one of the all-time greats of the wrestling business. In fact, Stone Cold Steve Austin considers Ric Flair the outright greatest to ever do it. But Ric Flair Ric Flair hasn't done himself any favors in more recent years when it comes to his legacy, shall we say. When you see something on social media, and you have like a double take because I can't have just seen what I thought I just saw. Yeah, that's happened not once, but twice with Ric Flair over the last 24 hours or so. First up, the Nature Boy posted a comment about Jim Ross. Now, JR underwent surgery this past week to have colon cancer removed. Thankfully, Jim has since updated his fans to let them know the surgery was a success, that the cancer was hopefully fully removed, and that he was now on the road to recovery, which is obviously great news. So best wishes to JR. Again, Jim Ross, an all-time great. Some would say, including myself, that he is the greatest play-by-play guy of all time. And Jim is someone who's been through so much over the years. So Ric Flair, being Ric Flair, he posted on X about how Jim Ross will always be Jim Ross, attention-seeking. Focus on your recovery, JR. Which, classy. Stay classy there, San Diego. Of course, that tweet has since been deleted after Ric Flair received major backlash, and rightly so. Now, the relationship between Flair and Ross supposedly soured back in about 2013. That was partly down to the infamous WWE 2K14, wasn't it, promotion panel that Jim Ross hosted. I believe it was SummerSlam weekend that year, if memory serves, but that panel kind of went off the rails largely due to Ric Flair and the amount of alcohol some of the participants consumed beforehand, shall we say, a few too many cocktails. That ultimately led to JR leaving WWE, with him taking the blame for allowing the panel to get out of hand. Though Flair has also supposedly taken issue since with comments Jim Ross has made on Dark Side of the Ring over the years as well. And here we are in 2025, and Flair posts about JR attention seeking by updating his fans with a thankfully positive update on his colon cancer surgery. But that is not all. For after deleting that tweet, it didn't take too long for the Nature Boy to post another bad taste take. Again, this is another post that has already been deleted. As Ric Flair, he posted a bizarre, as he called it, the Woo Compromise, which is an agreement about sexual relations, consent, and Space Mountain. Yeah, by signing this compromise, this is from, again, this has been deleted now, but just part of this agreement. By signing this compromise, both parties involved agreed to ride Space Mountain and engage in sexual relations on this night. Another bit from there, this contract has the signed and sealed approval of the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, who has taken many women for a ride on Space Mountain and has the utmost respect for women. And then there's areas at the bottom to be signed by two parties, both being over 18 years of age. So yeah, that's what Ric Flair's been up to this past weekend, posting ridiculous stuff on X. Now, he has as well put up yet another post, and this one has not been deleted as of this recording at least anyway, where Rick says, "If you can't take a joke from a 76-year-old man, then you are living life too seriously. It was all harmless, light-hearted fun, just trying to make people laugh and smile." Now, it's not entirely clear which previous tweet this was in a response to, but it looks more like it was in relation to the, what was it called, the Woo Compromise. Even if this was intended as a joke, it's just so poorly judged, and that's an understatement. Such bad taste, and it would be from anyone, but even more so when the person posting it is Ric Flair. And again, if the joke was the post was about JR, then again, just read the room, man. Anyway, away from that ridiculousness and shifting our attention to WWE Evolution 2, which has now been officially announced for July 13th. And it appears that internal reaction to that PLE, it's a little mixed. It isn't entirely positive from those in WWE. Now, this comes from Fightful Select, who note that the majority of the women's roster only learned about the show when the rest of us did, when it was publicly announced. What was it, during Backlash? Yeah, that was when it was announced, wasn't it? Yeah. I'm right in thinking that, remembering that. There were exceptions to this, though. There were certain top stars and one unnamed legend that were given a heads up ahead of time, with that legend potentially working Evolution. Again, this is an unnamed legend, so we don't know who that might be. I mean, Trish Stratus seems to be an obvious one, possibly, or Lita. They've been active in more recent years. Who knows? Anyway, enough about that. But the wider internal reaction, Fightful says it was mixed, with some talents taking exception to the curtain call element of the first Evolution and how that wouldn't have happened to the men on the roster. Now, if you remember back to that first Evolution, the main event, It was Ronda Rousey tapping out Nikki Bella. Then Ronda, when she got to the top of the ramp, she was met there by the majority of the women's roster. I mean, the Bellas had gone backstage. Nia Jax was shown backstage watching on a monitor. But the rest of the roster, they were pretty much all there. Baby faces and heels all mingling together and embracing. There were legends there. Stephanie McMahon was there, of course. And in a lot of ways, it was a really great moment. But from a kayfabe sense, yeah, not so much so. I mean, one other concern as well from this report is that there's apparently a Beyonce concert. I mean, my music taste is stuck in indie 90s Britpop, so I have no idea where Beyonce is playing. But apparently, she is playing nearby on that same weekend, and hotel prices are likely to shoot up as a result. And so, if that causes Evolution to underperform, there's a fear that this could be used to justify not doing another Evolution show in the future. One wrestler who Fightful spoke to also noted how WWE currently does too many PLEs, as is, which I can attest to that. Though one veteran is excited that some lesser used talents will hopefully get a chance to shine at Evolution 2. So the general vibe is less excitement than there was for the first Evolution, though that is said to be more down to the general booking of the majority of the women's division lately, and in how so many of the roster didn't find out about the event until it was publicly announced. Sticking with women's wrestling and questionable booking, and it's time to switch over to AEW and one Thunder Rosa. Now, I am a big Thunder Rosa fan. All of us here at WhatCulture Wrestling are big Thunder Rosa fans, which is why it's been a confusing little while for La Mera Mera in AEW. I mean, a former AEW Women's Champion, one of the most popular talents they have in that division, a great worker, a very solid promo, and most importantly, Thunder Rosa just has that magical it factor. I mean, for me, the first time I saw Thunder Rosa as Thunder Rosa, of course, there was Lucha Underground, but the first time I saw her as Thunder Rosa was in the NWA, and it's just like straight away. I mean, she was the only person at that point in time who had music when NWA Power launched. And it's just like straight away you see it, and it's like, who is this woman? She is a badass. But I mean, you look at this year so far, 2025. And Thunder Rosa has only got one televised AEW win, which was a win over Penelope Ford back in February, and has wrestled just 6 times for AEW so far this year. I mean, we're in June now. It's like literally the midpoint of the year. And Thunder Rosa doesn't seem too happy with her current standing with AEW. Now, this comes from her latest vlog, which was posted over the weekend, and saw Thunder celebrate 100,000 subscribers. So congratulations on that. And she let out some frustrations. I got a few quotes here from Rosa. Things are very somber for me right now. There's a lot of things that I want. You guys make me believe that I should be a champion, but it doesn't matter what I do. I still can't reach. I can't get a hold of that. It keeps becoming very frustrating. Another quote here: losing makes you really somber and sad and question yourself. I've been questioning myself a lot lately. Straight up, I want to be a champion, but everybody else is telling me that I don't have what it takes to be a champion. Yeah, okay. Then what the flub do I have to do? Show my tits? I don't know. So strong words there from Thunder Rosa. But will it lead to a bigger spot for her on AEW programming? I hope so. Again, one of the very best talents they've got, if you ask me. But for whatever reason, it's been a very stop-start in 2025 so far in AEW for Thunder. In fact, she worked the most recent set of Ring of Honor tapings last week, a tag match there. So, I mean, what that means, I don't know. I mean, hey, if there's some way of getting Thunder Rosa versus Athena, count me in. I mean, those women absolutely killed it for Warrior Wrestling a couple of years ago. What, 2022 was it, or 2023? Just it was like a 30-minute time limit draw, I think. It was definitely a time limit draw, and it was a lot of fun, a lot of heavy hitting. So if we can get some out of that, hey, I'm all right with that. But yeah, Thunder Rosa, if you ask me, should be a more feature player in AEW TV. Thunder Rosa should be in and around a title picture. But I mean, you look at it, obviously, Mercedes Moné has dominated the TBS title ranks for over a year now, so nobody has been able to get near that belt. And then the AEW World title, that's spent the last 18 months or so locked up by Toni Storm and Mariah May. Although Rosa did have a couple of cracks at the title during that period. I mean, if you know what, if I've got the pencil, if I'm booking things, you could do far worse and circle back to Thunder Rosa versus Deonna Purrazzo, which another ridiculously underused talent. I mean, Deonna Purrazzo, for anyone who watched her latest run in TNA, genuinely one of the best in-ring workers on the planet. But yeah, only one Dynamite match in the past year, and that was a loss in the past year, not even this year, the past year. And that was a loss to Harley Cameron. And yes, Harley Cameron is great, a phenomenal entertainer who has a huge future either in wrestling or outside of wrestling. But yeah, I don't know how someone doesn't do more with Deonna Purrazzo. I have zero idea. Same with Thunder Rosa. But moving on, and to our final story, which is a story that WWE pretty much spoiled a week or so ago. Was it this Monday? But yes, El Hijo del Vikingo is the new AAA Mega Champion. That happened last night in Mexico City, with Vikingo beating Alberto El Patron, that would be the former Alberto Del Rio, to become a 2-time Mega Champion. Now, it was a match the bits I've seen, there was a lot of interference, and it all came down to King Vikingo, which would be Vikingo's father, who hit El Patron with a guitar, allowing Vikingo to hit the always impressive 630 senton. And that brings El Patron's reign to an end at nearly 300 days. I'd look into it. Some places say 287 days, others say 288 days, but either way, approaching 300 it was. And this means that Vikingo will be defending the AAA mega title when he faces Chad Gable at Worlds Collide next weekend. Now, as mentioned, WWE, they had pretty much spoiled this outcome. I mean, they showed a Vikingo versus Gable promo graphic on Raw that just also had included there was for the AAA Mega Championship, even though the match hadn't been the title hadn't been decided yet. The logic behind that, I mean, the stories that came out was that, well, the Mexico Netflix broadcast, that didn't show that particular graphic. So those AAA fans in Mexico, they weren't having the match spoiled, with WWE seemingly forgetting that, yeah, the internet is a thing. That exists, and people are not idiots. But yeah, title or no title, Vikingo versus Gable was always going to be fun. I mean, for those who maybe not seen much of El Hijo de Vikingo, the dude is insane. I mean, because I am that old man who shouts at clouds, there can be a smidge too much flying around with a lack of psychology for my own personal taste, but a pure spectacle Vikingo, I mean, to be frank, he can do things that very few other people can do. Ridiculous athleticism. And in Chad Gable, that's just an absolutely pitch perfect first opponent for Vikingo when it comes to introducing Vikingo to a WWE audience who've maybe not seen him before. And with that brings an end to today's Solo Sunday News. Be sure to check out the other excellent video that's floating around here somewhere. This has been What Culture Wrestling. I've been Andrew Pollard. Be well, stay safe, and I will catch you next weekend.